When you think of Egypt or Cairo, do you automatically think of pyramids, camels, pharaohs, and desert? Most people do, but I want to show you a side of Cairo that most tourists don't get to see. A side that doesn't differ that much from the West or Europe. I also want to clarify that the pyramids are not located in Cairo, though many people seem to think they are. They are, in fact, in an area called Giza. My name is Sonia, and I'm a Serbian-born Canadian who moved from Canada to Egypt in 2021 to pursue a more peaceful and fulfilling life. And this is my family weekend trip to Cairo. Check my first two videos if you want to learn a little bit more about me and my life as an expat in Egypt. Now, let's get on with our road trip from Sharm el-Sheikh to Cairo, which is about a 5-hour car ride. In this video, I'm going to show you one of my favorite areas of New Cairo called Rehab, as well as the Airbnb we stayed in, and we'll also take a walk and do some shopping in one of the most popular malls in Cairo, called Cairo Festival City. And of course, I'll share with you some delicious Egyptian cuisine. My husband's family lives in Cairo, so we try our best to make it out there as often as we can. Cairo also has better shopping than where we live, and many administrative and government buildings are located in Cairo, so we occasionally have to make a trip for this reason. We could take a short, rather inexpensive flight or even a bus ride, but the 5-hour drive always seems to pass by quickly as there's never any traffic, unless you count the camels. The views are quite scenic and there are loads of pit stops along the way. Plus, there's just something fun and exciting about a long road trip. Well, it's more fun for some than others. I mean, you get to relax, listen to music, have more snacks than you would ever normally have, and we always see something interesting along the way. This time it was camels. And then there was this hovering dragonfly in front of the gas station shop, which I swear it looked like some type of drone. I'm not that person, but I mean, look at this thing. It's just like hovering in one spot. Anyhow, moving on. One of our favorite things about a road trip is what we call a beach or birthday sandwich. It's a retro sandwich popular in Serbia back in like the 80s and 90s, as it was always served at birthdays or taken on road trips, typically to the beach. My kids absolutely love them, and they are one of the best things about going on a road trip. If you're Serbian and you remember these sandwiches, drop me a comment below. We always know we're near Cairo when we pass through the Ahmed Hamdi Tunnel, which is about maybe another hour or so before you actually get to Cairo. This time around, stayed in an area called Rehab, but have in the past also stayed in Medinti and other New Cairo areas. So we decided to rent out an Airbnb. It was a 3-bedroom, 3-washroom because we were going to have my husband's family stay with us. We actually stayed in this kind of apartment before with the same company. It was just on a different floor. And they're really amazing, very clean, great service. So it was perfect for our needs and had just enough space for everyone. It's also close to most of what we wanted to do, which is also part of the reason that we prefer to stay here rather than, let's say, go to his family's home, which a little bit outside of where we would want to do, you know, all the things like go to the malls and all that. And it's a bit quieter here as well, too. This flat came with a really nice garden and, to my luck, some really cute kittens. They were strays, but they all looked pretty okay, so we enjoyed feeding them and the mom too, and this just added a whole level of like cuteness to our trip, because if you've seen any of my other videos, you will know what animal lovers we are and that we take care of and feed some stray cats that live near our home, and our dog is a stray, or was a stray rather. So this was just like cherry on the cake because like they're so cute. So we enjoy their company as well, and we made sure that they were nice and fed while we were there, and the kids really enjoyed that as well too. While we were making sure the kittens were well fed, my sister-in-law made sure that we were all fed, and when they came, boy did she feed us. She brought like the most amazing Egyptian feast for us to have, which was so welcome after that long 5-hour drive. She brought like something called mashi, which is like stuffed cabbage and grape leaves and zucchini and peppers and chicken and all sorts of goodies, and we were so full after this amazing meal that we just decided to go on a very long walk around the neighborhood, which is fantastic to do because it's so nice and quiet and really lovely for walking, and the weather was perfect. This is one part of Cairo that I don't think most tourists get to see, because usually the focus is on the more historic areas, markets, temples, doing tours, of course the pyramids and things like that. Before moving here, I got a lot of questions as to like, why Egypt, and isn't it just desert, and I mean, what really is there? And I just wanted to show a side of Egypt that many maybe don't see, that it's just like an average neighborhood where you know, go for a walk and go out to eat and go to a restaurant and go shopping and do all the things that you would do in North America or anywhere else in the world. So just wanted to show a different side that maybe some have not seen. If you're ever in Egypt, you have to try the Egyptian falafel, which is called talmiya. It's a falafel made with fava beans, and this whole spread for like 8 people was less than $5. So it's a really affordable way to eat, and it's a way to ensure that everyone can have a hearty breakfast. What's amazing too is that this whole meal is vegan. So bonus for those who are vegan. Lots of options here actually, including the dish that my sister-in-law brought, the mashi, the stuffed cabbage. It's vegan as well. So after breakfast, we wanted to go for a ride so we can show you a little bit more of this compound or gated community. But first, we're gonna feed the kitties. Rehab, much like Medinti and some of the other gated communities, they're actually quite large, almost like a city. They're very safe, very clean, lots of greenery, actually quite beautiful just to go for a drive or a walk. Most of these compounds also have a mall or some kind of shopping. Many have schools. So you truly do have everything you need in one of these communities, including hospitals, community centers, after-school activities for kids, parks, doctors. It's really well-rounded. So I just wanted to show you, and it's beautiful too. So in case you don't get to make it out here, which most don't, hopefully you enjoy this little drive around the town. What we do love the most is just being able to walk around. The weather was so beautiful. We went just before school started here, so it was September. And in our walk, we ran into this adorable little guy. He had to make it into my video. I don't know his name. He was just in someone's yard, but I mean, like, look at the cuteness here. I just love animals. I don't know if you can tell based on my videos, but if there's an animal, I will pet it. And if I can, I will also feed it. So we are told that Egypt is a developing country. Some people even think it's a third world country, but it's not. Though there are some economic issues in Egypt. When you're here and you go out, let's say, to eat, you see that restaurants are packed full and loads of people are out and malls are full and people are spending money. So I just think that the image that is portrayed to the West of what a country like Egypt is like isn't quite accurate or true, and you won't really know or see that unless you come to Egypt. And specifically, if you come to Egypt in areas where people live and maybe like mid upper class areas, which there are a lot of. Unfortunately, many people don't get to see this side of Egypt. So if you are visiting, I do urge you to venture outside of the historic areas, because you'll get a different vibe of Egypt altogether and just how people live. And I also urge you to check out as many restaurants as you can. When we were in rehab, we decided to go to a restaurant that we saw actually last time we were here. It was being built at the time. It's quite a popular spot, and though we kind of figured it would be busy, we didn't realize it would be that busy. It was a 2-hour wait, which we decided to like stick it through. Luckily, there's some entertainment, some flame throwing and things like that to keep us occupied in the area where the restaurant is beautiful. But we were really hopeful that the food was worth the wait. And it really, truly was. This is a Syrian restaurant. If you are in rehab, I do recommend it. Maybe not on a Thursday night because it's very busy. It's called Ibn El Sham. The food was delicious. For 8 of us, we had like full meal plates. It was less than $50, including like we all got just water. Nobody really wanted anything else. But huge plates of food under $50 for 8 people. And just like with every other meal, we had to walk it off. So we decided to walk around the neighborhood, just in different areas, and just check out the scenery, which again, really appreciate that I can do this here It's so safe, which is something that I think also people might have a bit of a misunderstanding or misconception about, that Egypt is not a safe place. My kids play outside as long as they want. I don't worry about them, and this is not how it was in Canada for me. I was a bit of a helicopter mom. I don't have that feeling here, which says a lot to me, at least. The next day, we decided to spend sort of a chill day at home, or rather the Airbnb. Play around with the kittens a little bit more. Okay, I say play around. They did not want anything to do with us, actually. They were looking at us from afar. But the mom was super friendly, so we fed them. They hissed. We gave cuddles to the mom. That's how it went. Had a coffee outside on the patio, and then we just decided to play some card games and hang out until it was time for lunch. My brother-in-law decided to treat us to another very famous Egyptian dish called koshari, which also happens to be vegan. Like, who knew that Egypt had so many popular vegan dishes? This is a dish, it's super delicious, and I love the flavor of it, but it's not a dish I can personally have too often because it's very carb heavy. It is lentils, pasta, rice, chickpeas, with a rich tomato sauce, fried onions on top, and then there's like this garlic vinegar sauce and a chili sauce if you like. I mean, it's super fantastic, and I can't even tell you, like, for everyone aside from me and my sister-in-law, so we got 6 portions. I think my brother-in-law paid like less than $8 for this, which, how amazing is that, right? Very hearty meal. And there's absolutely no better way to walk off a meal like that than taking a long walk through the mall and potentially spending some money, which we did, because shopping here is so amazing and so much better than Sharm. Although I love Sharm, I love where we live, shopping, it's not the greatest. So whenever we come to Cairo, we try to come to Cairo Festival City, which is one of the most popular malls here. There's a ton of them actually, but this one we really like. It has everything that we need, and it has a lot of the brands that we are familiar with from Canada. And though I'm not a big brand person, there is some comfort in buying something that you know. So we do tend to come here a couple times a year, and in this case it was back to school shopping. Our kids do wear uniform to school, so that makes things easier, but they grow way too quickly, and winter is coming. And yes, we do have a winter. It doesn't snow here, but it does get chilly around November, December, January, so it was a good time for us to get a few things that we need. One other misconception that I think people might have about Egypt is really that we don't have these types of things. Like, there's Victoria's Secrets here, and many restaurants like Chili's that you are probably used to if you're like from Canada or US. But I don't think that many tourists make it out to malls, and I'm not saying that you should come to Egypt to see a mall, but I also think it's important to understand that there's a lot more to Egypt than what you're maybe led to believe or what people might see when they do come and visit. These malls are pretty spectacular, and they're not really like any malls I've seen in North America, because quite a lot of them have like really beautiful architecture, big fountains and shows and outdoor areas for seating and amazing restaurants. And actually families come here on a weekend and spend like the whole day. I mean, they have theaters and areas with like video games. There's one mall in Egypt that has indoor like tobogganing and skating and all sorts of things. So great place to come for family, and it's air conditioned, right? So in the summer there's no better place to be. So after all this walking and shopping, we were tired, but no one was as tired and as hungry as my son. He was just done. So we decided we're gonna order some food, and the food court there is pretty amazing. I mean, you have things that we're used to in Canada and even in the US, like Dunkin' Donuts, but we opted for Hardee's. I don't really know if this is in North America or not, but it is something that I'm familiar with from UAE. I visited Dubai and Abu Dhabi several times. My husband was living there when we first met, so I'm quite familiar with this burger, but the kids are not. It was their first time trying it, and they loved it, and I actually missed it. I haven't had it in such a long time, so that was a fun treat. Our mall trips in Cairo always end with a big grocery haul because there's just way more stuff in Cairo than there is in Sharm, and the stores here are like gigantic. I think like Costco meets Walmart. Anyhow, we were pretty exhausted and we were leaving in the morning, so it was time to wrap up our trip. We just like went home, packed up some of our stuff, and wanted to get ready for our trip in the morning. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it gave you a little bit of a different look into Cairo, maybe of some places that you have not seen. Just day-to-day life places, I guess. one last feeding of the kittens before we hit the road and head back on our 5-hour journey back to Sharm. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you give it a like and comment below. Let me know, have you been to Cairo? Have you seen any of these places? Or do you plan to maybe venture outside of the touristic areas? I hope that you do. It just gives you a better sense of the people and the culture. I also hope that you subscribe and follow me along, as I plan to share a lot more about my life here in Egypt as an expat Serbian Canadian who flew halfway across the world to create her best life.